against Duke down at Miami. Yeah, they lost it a bit. They did that against a great Duke team when Miami is really just trying to tread water at this point.
They lost on Tuesday 97-60 to the Duke Blue Devils. North Carolina 11-2 in the Smith Center, and we are underway as Miami wins the opening tip. And again, just 2-15 in ACC play for Miami. North Carolina at 11-6. Up top here for Brandon Johnson, letting fly, and he'll drill that. He has started all 29 games.
That's not a bad start for Miami, but this is the side of the floor that's been the biggest issue, is when they can defend. They can compete a little bit more on the offensive end, but defense has been a challenge.
Elliot Cadeau running the point, although in recent games here, like the 4-5 you were talking about, John, RJ more of a floor general at times. So they got it downstairs for the stuff for Lubin.
And part of the reason being that they need to create better space on the floor, and not having a shooter out on the perimeter makes it challenging.
And among the starters from Miami, number 99, Divine Ugochukwu, which is a fun name to say, 6'3" freshman. Bethea will give it up for Johnson, who just nailed that three. Joe Bay, the 6'7" sophomore from France, with the shot clock winding down, and that one tossed out of play.
Say it's a fun name to say. That's just because we have pronunciations in the notes.
Yes. Otherwise, we're on our own, and that could get very ugly. The officials, Roger Ayers, Eric Lewis, and Jamel Spearman here today. And look at the Carolina starting five. One guy who really makes a difference in there is Drake Powell with his tremendous athleticism. Man, it can be freaky at times. Davis launches a long one. Rebound tipped out high. The second chance for the Tar Heels.
And that's Powell. I mean, it's athleticism, but it's just energy. He brings in energy where he creates second chance opportunities. And second chance opportunities is going to give you an open floor, and that's where Elliot Cadeau is at his best.
North Carolina to take on Virginia Tech in Blacksburg next. And then the second clash with Duke on March 8th at 6:30 on ESPN. A whistle on the foul. Ugochukwu.
A little bit of an extension on Ugochukwu, but this is what Elliot Cadeau can do if he has an open floor. There's a little extension. You got to sell it a little bit. I'm just glad we didn't have an early stoppage and review. Don't kill rhythm early. Let the game determine how it's going to be played.
I think that's something that has to be looked at when this season is over, because
should be reviewed.
2 minutes. So please don't say that. Withers launching and buries a triple.
I agree with you, because for coaches, how you play is your best recruiter, and a slow game will favor, in my opinion, the inferior team. The inferior players are favored in a slow game, so don't have as many stoppages as we have. Let's keep things flowing. And oh, by the way, maybe we'll fit the 2-hour TV window.
Bethea, the talented freshman, with a long one coming. That glances away. Second effort. Joe Bay got to the rebound. And here's Matthew Cleveland, who's the star on the floor for Miami, averaging 16 a game. He's missed the last 2 games because of an ankle sprain. Nice touch there to drill the three.
Johnson, he got it going early, and now he's got confidence on the release. And if you're going to have to dig down on Cleveland, he's going to be open. At the same time, I think Carolina lives with that.
North Carolina getting 91 points a game during the winning streak. Here's Bethea. Got a good look. He couldn't bury that. Withers with the rebound.
I think if there's anybody that it's important he makes threes, it's Jalen Withers, because he could be a pick and pop guy at times. He doesn't have to make a high percentage, but he can move the defense, particularly with the smaller lineup that Carolina's going to play with.
Exactly right, and he does shoot at a high percentage, 46%. Davis got it. A three-pointer for RJ, the number 3 scorer in ACC history.
A lot of guys that can shoot 46%, they shoot that because they allow it to come their way. They've got to develop more of an aggressiveness to seek it out. The more you seek it out, the more you get others open. As Johnson lets another one go, that ain't going to work.
Maybe feeling a little too good. By the way, the walk in the hallway for North Carolina out to the court is like the best there is.
I mean, it's like a top 5 hallway, I would say. I mean, the jukebox helps, or boombox helps. Jukebox, what am I, in the 50s? Get some Elvis music going.
Elvis on there.
The boombox is sweet. It's color-coded. The hallway's awesome. Look, I grew up a Carolina fan, unapologetically, partially because my brother was a Duke fan and we argued about everything, but I liked my choice. I just wasn't good enough to play here out of high school.
Greatest player of all time plays here.
Yeah.
Here's Cadeau on the baseline. Nice give there by Davis. Cleveland got a hand on it. It's out off Miami, so it'll be North Carolina. Really easy for North Carolina today. Just don't slip up.
Don't slip up. Is it that easy?
Yes.
It's that easy. Yes, it is that easy because they figured it out. And it's been over the last 4 games, as we talked about a little in the open, was ultimately the last 4 games they've been able to score points. They've scored points. They're able to play faster. The faster they're able to play, the more they maximize their smaller lineup. I like the game. We simplify it like that.
Well, in their position right now, you know, on the bubble. Just going to take care of business. Cleveland on the drive with a left hand, no. And the rebound comes right back to him.
It's like what my mother said the first time I called a game on TV. Just don't screw up. It's that easy, right?
North Carolina 5 baskets by the starters, 1 each. So sharing the sugar and now getting it down and in to Jalen Washington, the 6'10 junior, for a bucket.
Well, good spacing allows you to get to that high-low, and I think Washington can play a significant role in this team. I like when he and Withers are on the floor together, but this, again, a smaller, lengthy lineup.
Bethea, yes, nice touch by the freshman, 5-star recruit out of Philadelphia.
He's got it. It's been hard to build anything with consistency given the challenges that Miami's faced all year, but he's got tremendous potential. Does this
Powell sizes it up and swishes it in to 3.
His shot preparation, if I'm breaking down his skill set, it's there. Shot preparation is something that he can improve and become a high-level pro. If he can get his feet ready and really get a little pace into that shot, he'll have better rhythm and get a higher percentage of shots off.
He's a cousin of Hubert Davis, the head coach. And a whistle in the act of taking a shot, and a foul here against North Carolina on top 17-11.
Hey, look, you know, we have the Emmys coming up, but here at Carolina, they do, or the Oscars, excuse me, they do the Rammys. Okay. And there was an award just awarded for best pipes in the ACC. The voting was close, but it was further secured by your eloquent 1-minute open this morning. Dave O'Brien, the winner of this award.
I was like, where did you get that?
Yeah, I thought I was taking it home, but
is it solid gold?
Yeah, I think it's like 12 carat. I don't know.
May see that on eBay later, but thank you very much. That is quite a phony honor. I'm really touched very deeply.
Yeah, there's no name yet etched.
No name yet, nothing yet. Still
again, it was that beautiful welcoming 1-minute open that you did that locked it down.
I had no idea. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. But thanks, Mom. Davis trying to dish right there at the foul line, knocked around by Washington. He hits the deck, gets it free. Jackson will drive it and score it. Ian Jackson, the quick freshman.
Carolina is actually really good with broken plays because broken plays tend to create a scramble for the defense. That's when they're at their best. The question is, how as an offense can you create scrambles? Something they've tried that's really been a challenge for them to consistently do.
Out of the corner, Joe Bay. They're expecting a lot more from him, kind of a step up in development this year. Trimble on the drive, airborne.
Nice.
And he'll be at the line to shoot 2.
Go. Look at this. Eyes in the back of your head. You got to have sense. You got to have a feel where everybody's at all times. It's a really silly thing for me to say that they may be at their best when they're in a scramble, but you got to continue to peel back the layers of that comment to understand they're at their best when they can get a defense to chase them. They have 4 or 5 guys that can put the ball on the floor and make a play. So create a scramble, create a chase, play out of it. Less sets, more play.
Trimble to the line at 82%. He's coming off 17 in Tallahassee on Monday in the win, fouled by Matthew Cleveland, who picked up his first. And North Carolina is starting to feel comfortable here, which they've done a lot in recent games. And they've already had 8 players score at least 1 point.
That's what happens when you have playmakers in space. The space affords you the opportunity to make a play. The playmakers see the opportunity and take it. That's the part, like you said, you know, just keep it going, right? Sometimes the simplest way of viewing the game is the best way to view the game. And when it gets tough and you're Carolina, you're trying to play to make the NCAA tournament, simplify it because your playmakers will win the game.
Kyrie Huey at 6'9", a senior from Miami, getting into the fray here. I'll tell you what, it's weird to look across and look at the Miami bench and not see Coach L there, Jim Larrañaga. One of the great coaches, I thought, in college basketball for a long time. Resigning one day after Christmas. Nice back move here by Cleveland.
Well, look, it's going to be really weird not seeing Leonard Hamilton. It's weird not seeing Tony Bennett, Coach K, Roy Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Bray. I mean, you continue. It's Jim Boeheim, for crying out loud. I mean, you just go through the list in the ACC. It's almost time for almost like a rebrand if you were a company. I mean, all new coaches in this conference. Just a historic conference, too, for college basketball.
Texas got a good look. He doesn't need a lot of room to get his shot off. A tie up here will stay right here with 12:18 to go in the first half. A disastrous season for Miami. Just 2 years removed from a co-championship in the ACC and a magical run to the Final Four. Look at that Hall of Fame group of coaches.
It's hard to imagine when you think about that 5,500 wins between that group. It's humbling.
Cleveland, nice look away, held on to the basketball, laid it in. He has 6.
Just think about what Miami could be. If Nigel Pack really hasn't played much at all this year. Matthew Cleveland, tremendous potential. They lost Norchad O'Near to the transfer portal or the free agency, whatever you want to call it. I'm honest enough to call it what it is.
Can't hit that. On a run out. Ugochukwu, nice pass. They'll kick it back outside to him. Cleveland from three-point land. Off the front iron. We mentioned Nigel Pack, who's been out for now 17 consecutive games. And you're not going to see him. And that's one nice reminder from their Final Four team that they had at the top of the season. As you said, only played a couple of games, played well. Hurt last year, too. It has been very, very tough sledding for Miami. No pain, no gains coming up as we continue here in Chapel Hill, our first game of the day on a Saturday.
You're worth something. You're worth something because of the dedication of people like Big House Games. They helped grow this game to the point where it has the value that it has, that the game can actually pay you to play it. You have to remember, none of this exists without the people that came before us. Big House Games was a big piece of that.
On the drive and the scoop and a strong move by Withers for 2. And he has 5 already. When I think of the Yankee Clipper, Sal the Barber, when I think of great nicknames, how does Big House hit you?
Look, Big Dog's another one that kind of, it's just kind of humbling. I don't have any good nicknames. I think at one point they called me Milk, but I think it was derogatory.
It might have been. Glad you're not overthinking it, though. Sports out of the corner. Can't knock that one down. Rebound tapped and controlled by Carolina. And they want to push the tempo with Jackson. He's a one-man fast break anyway, but the layup wouldn't drop. Cleveland, no one picked him up, and he'll lay it in. It looks like that ankle's fine.
Yeah, he does seem okay. He's able to get up and down the floor all right. And I actually don't mind the game getting like this where it's up and down, but Carolina has to maintain polish because they're playing for far more than just this win. You have to continue to build upon what you've found over the last 4 games.
Another turnover here. It's Cleveland again. Another strong drive for 2 more and give him 10 points.
Just wondering, well, yeah, RJ's coming back into the game. You're going to bring RJ and Drake Powell back into the game. Good energy and stability. Last few possessions have been sloppy and defense has been a problem.
Lubin takes the hit, made the shot. And with 10:01 to go, North Carolina adding to the lead, 25-19.
This is just wide open. You got a lot of pointing, but no one's pointing and stopping the ball. Sometimes the simplest fundamentals are what allows you to win at basketball, right? Toughness is a good thing. I would say toughness is a fundamental of basketball, but see-man, see-ball stop the basketball in transition. There's never been a great team that hasn't done the simplest of things.
Joe Bay with a personal, and Lubin to the line. He's coming off a solid 10.7 rebound effort at FSU on Monday. And he's 67% foul shooter, looking for a 3-point play. And nails that for 5 points on the day.
I think if we're going to add things, rules like transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff, it should follow with the requirement that you have to take basketball history every single year. You have to understand how much bigger this is than just you.
Great point Johnson, who hit a three right out of the gate. Ugochukwu gets a lot of iron and comes right back to the heels, and they want to push it again. R.J. Davis, who had 20 and 5 assists and 0 turnovers on Monday night. And he's really been more of a floor general in some of these wins. Running the point right here. Powell on the attack, lost the handle, had it slapped away, and he'll draw the foul.
Tell how hard Carolina is trying to work to get space on the floor. The problem is it's taking them a little too long to find it.
Huey with the foul. A big Monday coming your way. Wake Forest, that is a gigantic game coming off a bad loss. They're at Duke and Kansas and Houston Monday night at 7 and 9 on ESPN. So Carolina to put it in from the baseline. Elliot Cadeau.
Houston may play the best, most unpleasant basketball in the history of college basketball.
Right. Davis steps back, almost launched a three on the dribble drive, using that window, and it almost dropped. A lot of almost there, but kicked out of play by the Tar Heels. ACC top 9, Duke at 16 and 1, then the Ville, followed by Clemson. Of course, the only loss in conference play for Duke came at Clemson, then SMU at 12 and 5.
And for Carolina, it's kind of a weird situation where you got to win, but you also don't want to go into that 5th spot for the ACC tournament. It'd be nice to have an opportunity against Louisville or Clemson. Staying at 6, you go to 5th, and you're probably facing Duke.
Schwartz, good shooter, will knock that one home. Gaiman averaging about 5 points a game. They expected a little more from him this season because of his shooting range. You just saw that. Here's Powell on the wing. Cadeau knocked down a couple of threes the other night, and a good drive using that left hand.
You know, he doesn't particularly want to shoot that, but he is so good about just getting enough of an angle. Crafty, soft with the finish.
Johnson gives it up. Shot clock down to 10. Cleveland thought about a three. A two-pointer. He'll drill that. He's off to a great start today. Back in the lineup, 12 points.
He's got Sean Livingston-like release on his mid-range game. High release, tough to contest, and he makes a high percentage.
Boy, I'll tell you what, when Withers gets going, another triple. Give him 8. 31-24. What a difference that makes in this offense.
Why doesn't he shoot more? Like, he should be a focal point, not because he's the best on the floor, but his spacing will create so many opportunities for everybody else.
Johnson leaning in, gave it up. Carolina locking him down. R.J. Davis with a difficult angle. It almost fell. Ugochukwu got it. No one picked him up, and a three-pointer and a timeout. And Hubert Davis is upset. This game pretty tight right now. We were talking about the staffing changes here, saying the old model doesn't work, not sustainable.
Of amateur sports, you have to adjust and adapt. You have to do that with your own team, but you also have to do that with your personnel and support staff. This is where it's going, and it'll likely lead to the NCAA finding some sort of foundation for all of these teams to function from. If everybody starts the general manager role, we have professionalized this sport. The next step will be some sort of legislation or rules to allow everybody to compete on the same playing field, sort of.
Shot clock to 5. Davis took a look, steps back, fires, and Cleveland with the rebound. So Miami hanging in there here in the first half, because mainly Matthew Cleveland's healthy enough to play. Jobay firing it out, nobody home, and they turn it over.
Great possession, and there's no rush there. I mean, that's where pivot foot drills still matter at this level. You know, you're in the middle of the paint here. Just pivot. Oh, you're wide open. First off, just pivot. Keep pivoting. No, don't throw it away. You've got time. That's a key possession for a Miami team that's fought to stay in this game. 5 threes made by 4 different players. Good things are happening.
Shot clock at 4 now for North Carolina. Cadeau to the paint. And that didn't touch anything. It's a shot clock violation. Back over to the Hurricanes. 4 turnovers for North Carolina. NBA Countdown coming up on Saturday. Primetime game. ABC and ESPN Plus. Steph, Jimmy Butler, and the Warriors play a second game of a 5-game East Coast swing in Philly. Coverage tipping off NBA Countdown at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Last possession, Miami barely covered Cadeau. And it flattened out the defense, took all space out of the offense, and also disrupts rhythm.
Cleveland to pull up pop, well short. Powell looking for a cutter. Cadeau. Cadeau on the dribble again. On the baseline. A spinner there by Withers. Missed it, but he draws the foul.
With Cadeau, I think the idea for some guys is to create space. I mean, look at this amount of space Elliot Cadeau has. They're not really covering him. And it's a late clock situation where they're basically saying, go ahead, take the shot. If you're a smaller lineup, you need space. You need space to be able to keep your pace up. If you don't have space, you become a slow team. If you're a slow, small team, good luck.
So Withers at the line, making his 6th consecutive start today. Withers and Powell going into the lineup. It kind of tracks Carolina's winning ways as of late.
I told you my lineup for Carolina is R.J. Davis, Withers, Washington, Ian Jackson, and Drake Powell. That is a high energy, a fast-paced, better defensive group. And then you think of Trimble and Cadeau coming off the bench. Everybody has their own little death squad lineup, right? The Warriors had it in their heyday. That's when Livingston would come in and just hit mid-range. Iguodala was playing a big role in that. I think Carolina has that. It's just hard because you have to use bodies if you do want to play with good pace.
Okay, Tyson in the game now for Hubert Davis. There's Bethea. McDonald's All-American gives it up for Jordan. Johnson, I should say. He'll misfire there. And Davis with the rebound. North Carolina, you're just kind of waiting for a run here to really take control of the game. As Davis will back it out. Now back inside. And a whistle as he goes tumbling into a cameraman.
It's really hard what Carolina's facing, though, because the defense flattens. They're just not respecting the initial surge. You've got to attack with an initial surge that gets the defense back to the baseline and then retreating back out to the basketball. Then you can attack again. It's almost been like Carolina pushes it up, almost like a fake transition, then reverses the ball, but that allows the defense to get set. You want to avoid resets at all causes. In any possible way, avoid the reset, continue to flow, get a defense chasing, keep them chasing, and create opportunities.
Miami with his 6th foul as a team. North Carolina with just 1. And you want R.J. Davis at the line as many times as you can get. 88% tied for first in the ACC. And exactly 5 minutes to go here in the first half. 34-27.
That's so quiet in here. It's a great fan base. It's something you need the blue bloods to be blue. It's good for college basketball. But Carolina is also a special place.
Cleveland with 10 to get up a shot, bodying up, and well done against Trimble.
The high release is really tough to cover. He's also got tremendous experience, uses his body well.
He's had a big first half of 14. It's the main reason that Miami is keeping pace with Carolina. Davis came in 8 points away from 2,600 points in his career. Trimble from the corner. Yes.
It's a big shot. You wonder if seeing that go down, it helps you seek it out with a little more confidence.
Cleveland again. Trimble. On the move, Davis has it knocked away, and a clean steal by State McRae. He'll kick it out. Here's Johnson. And Jalen Washington ready to check in here for North Carolina.
Carolina lost a little momentum on that last possession. You got to feel the crowd and know how big the possession could be because of what it does in terms of bringing your crowd into the game.
Yeah, they want to explode. Clean block there by Schwartz. Here's Trimble. Yes, another triple.
That's my point, right? He makes that shot in the corner. Look at his shot preparation. Look at his footwork into that shot. He actually sought out the shot with a little bit of sense of urgency.
Back at Chapel Hill, biggest lead of the day so far for North Carolina. On top of Miami, 40-29. Tar Heels at 18-11. Miami at 6-22. They're just hoping for a miracle today. Cleveland has been the hot hand. And they're going to turn it over again.
It sounds silly, but this to me feels like an important possession, because if you're Carolina, you want to be able to pull away and keep energy high in this contest, and they haven't really been able to build on some good possessions. Also like the lineup on the floor. This Tyson just stays as a spacer. I don't care how many shots he's made or missed. He will always bring defense his way.
Dish downstairs, looking for the dunk. Washington defended well. North Carolina thought they had an easy stuff. 2:20 left in the first half. Cleveland a 14-point first half, looking for more. Rebound plucked away, up and in by Johnson. So a couple of times in the first half, it looked like North Carolina was ready to break free. Only to see the Canes come up with a couple of quick baskets. They can do it again. Cleveland on the run. Tyson got back to defend.
Just get out and go now.
Trimble, he wants to push it every time. Washington gave it up. The swing for Davis. Trimble again, lost it again. Bethea kicking out. State McRae, the open shooter, but no. Chasing down the high rebound, Withers. Good hustle there. On the drive, no. Tyson will take the hit. He'll draw the foul with 1:21 on the clock.
Miami just trying to create some opportunities on the offensive end. I would play everything through Matthew Cleveland because everybody's eyeballs stay on him. There's two guys on the ball. Now you elevate, high point it. I think that's the term, right? High point the basketball. Not an over the back.
And Bethea with the personal to put Tyson at the line, the 6'7" junior.
I had high hopes for Tyson. As a guy shot 46% from three coming in here. And you think about the role Brady Manick played once he really figured out how to maximize his role.
Boy, did he ever.
They became a Final Four team. I mean, that's how good they were. I mean, that's how important this role is. If you can put pick and pop guys out on the floor with an R.J. Davis and an Elliot Cadeau, you're going to open up the floor even more because any help has to take that second three away.
Tyson with his second. And that one rattles in. So a 10-point lead for the Heels as they go for a 5th consecutive win. You could call this Carolina's best stretch of basketball. 4 of the 8 best performances of the season as far as offensive efficiency have come during this winning streak.
I think there's a sense of urgency tied to it as well. I mean, early in the season, you just say, we're going to figure it out, right? We're going to figure it out. It'll take some time. They had a tough schedule to start, ton of quad one games. They didn't win a lot, but they had this sense that we'll find it at some point. The problem is the ACC hasn't given you a ton of opportunities for quad one wins. And yes, while they found it, now they have this extreme sense of urgency to make it to postseason.
North Carolina 1-10 in quad ones. On the bounce. Back out, make a shot. Drake Powell, the freshman, he is gifted.
I just love his energy. I think sometimes we get enamored with skill and potential and hype and all those other things, but hey, does he give you energy? Does he play hard? Does he communicate? Well, he checks those boxes, and that's why I love him.
Yeah, 13 assists, 1 turnover in the last 6 games for him.
It's incredible. I don't think I made 13 passes in that.
Bethea way downtown. Got an excellent look. Rebound comes to Trimble. Davis, a three-pointer coming. Got it.
Love it. Love it. If you show a willingness to shoot quick hitters, you put a pressure on the defense that makes you actually defend for a full 30, not this nonsense fake offense for 10 and then play for 20. Good finish for Carolina.
The long one by Bethea does not go. With that shot, with that make, R.J. Davis gets to.
He does it, and that high release on his mid-range jump shot is so tough. I say, like, it was Sean Livingston. That's the guy I keep looking at. I'm saying that it's like his game at the college level. Don't shy away from that two-point shot.
Formerly out of Florida State. On the baseline, Huey tried to save it, couldn't do it. So back over to North Carolina.
Went to a scripted play. They actually got it, just couldn't make the pass.
And again, North Carolina during this winning streak of 4 straight is averaging about 91 points a game. So they're right on it. And a quick strike underneath for Lubin.
Like that, we see your scripted play out of the halftime, and we'll match. We'll actually make the shot. Same thing from Carolina. Good execution. You got the shot you wanted.
Cleveland averaging 16 points a game. Almost got that in the first half. He'll dump it downstairs for the strike. And Huey at 6'9" with the basket.
From Miami, Matthew Cleveland has to touch the ball in a threatening position every single time down floor. Probably my least favorite call in college basketball, which is the moving screen anytime someone gets bumped.
Ven-Allen Lubin. Today's ACC Network men's basketball triple header. NC State and Georgia Tech. At 3 o'clock, SMU squaring off against Stanford, and we cap the night with Cooper Flag and Duke hosting Florida State. We were just in Tallahassee on Monday, and the last time we'll have a big Monday with Leonard Hamilton at the helm. One of the classiest head coaches you're going to find anywhere.
Unquestionably. Unquestionably. A lot of these guys really good for the game. Leonard Hamilton, one of them.
Well, they're getting it down and into the basket courtesy of Lubin early. He has 9.
I would also say don't just look at Leonard Hamilton's success on the outside. Like, learn his story. His story is more fascinating than the outcomes.
Raised here in North Carolina. And a traveling violation. So if the tournament got underway today, our T. Rowe Price ACC men's basketball tournament, here's the field.
You would have to think that's exactly what Carolina wants. The problem is they need to continue winning. If they do so, they could slide up into that 5 spot, at which point probably have to beat Duke. I don't know, man. That's tough. Just, you got to win games. You got to play your best basketball, and wherever you lie, that's what you got to live with.
That's what NC State was thinking last year.
Oh, man, how about that?
Goodall with his stuff. It opened up, and he jammed it in.
That split just opened things wide up, and a little bird in my ear just told me in French, cadeau means gift. That open lane was quite the gift.
52-33. The dish for Powell. He'll swing it. Good ball movement. Withers didn't shoot it. Lubin again, and he's been the man early on. They moved it really well.
That was good stuff. And what happened? They got the defense to chase. That's the issue I've been saying. You can't walk it up. You can't allow reset. You put the defense in a situation where they have to chase the play. You get good things. By the way, I hope it actually means gift.
Boy, I hope so too.
Kim Belton, our producer's not just messing with me.
Lubin will take the hit, and he'll be off to the line. He's been a one-man band here today for Miami.
Here's the gift with the ball. Keep it. Look at the ball movement, though. Look, create a chase. Look, here's great chase. They converge. 2 guys are on the ball. Keep it moving. You get open looks. Keep the ball moving. 5 passes.
What a smart decision by Powell not to shoot it there, but to find somebody more open. Withers with the rebound, 54-35. This feels like North Carolina in the process of putting the hammer down, their biggest lead.
But look at the flat defense. This is something where you've got to find a way to get this defense to chase where they're just playing flat in the zone.
There's an airborne pass. Shot clock down to 6. Boy, he is having a second half. Ven-Allen Lubin, the 6'8" junior.
I mean, that's going to be your best option if the defense is going to sit in that 3-2 zone that way.
Matthew Cleveland wants to get a shot in the air mid-range, well short. Davis way ahead and a little too much for Withers. Cleveland's open. He can't drill it. Huey with the rebound, up and in. Lubin with 8 points in the second half. Powell with a misfire.
I love that shot, though. Dan, apply pressure on the defense early by taking quick shots.
Johnson going strong to the paint. It won't fall for him. Loose on the deck. Johnson with really good hustle to free it. Huey with a one-hander, no. Rebound bouncing around, and it comes to Davis. North Carolina had 1 foul in the first half.
There are a number of reasons for that.
Give me 3.
I'm going to start with 1. They switch a lot, and Miami doesn't do a ton offensively to create movement. It's a lot of one-on-one ISO basketball.
Lubin, man, what a second half is. 15 points.
I mean, it's really simple. I mean, you kind of move it to get someone to play ISO ball. They're not really looking to get to the rim. Matthew Cleveland, who's your best playmaker, shooting mid-range jump shots, not finishing at the rim. Not going to get a lot at the free throw line.
North Carolina came through the hallway today and took to the floor looking very, very comfortable. And here in the second half, even more so. And underneath it'll be Johnson.
Lubin getting it going. Well, why is that? Here, 3-2 zone. Everybody's lifted. He's in a true ISO situation. No help, no dig down. Easy basket. Schedule.
Johnson at the line for Miami. Knocks that down for a three-point play. 58-40. The go-to guy for North Carolina here in the second half has been Ven-Allen Lubin. And 10 of the 12 scored by Carolina have come from him.
I like the lineup on the floor for Carolina. Put Trimble in the middle of this zone. Playmaker, create an ISO attack.
So strong. Shifts out of that lane. Here's Jackson, who can hit the 3 to the tune of 40%. Shot clock down to 2. Got to get a shot in the air. Stumbled a bit and he drew the foul. Beyond that 3-point line.
All right, this is going to sound weird. If he didn't stumble, he would have gotten a clean elevation and he wouldn't have gotten fouled. The stumble actually led to him getting fouled. I just hope if we show it back, I'm not proven to be wrong, but as a player, I can tell you on defense, you're playing this based on him. Yeah, you want to see him elevate. Now, granted, he jumped into him, but you're elevating to contest the basketball. Jackson didn't get off the floor.
Chukwu with the foul. And he'll head to the bench. 2025 NBA draft rankings. And, of course, Cooper Flagg at the very top.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. I think Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey are tremendous talents. But Cooper Flagg, his ability to just move and manipulate the game has been remarkable. I think Ian Jackson is actually pretty good value at 33 because he's merely scratching the surface in terms of his potential.
Meanwhile, the officials did go to the monitor very briefly, which we're thankful for, just to make sure that was a 3.
Why are we thankful for that? We like pace. That's right. We like pace. Good
pace, excitement, fluidity.
Yep. Flights.
Roger Ayers made sure we had that going today. Jackson with 4. And trying to make it 5, and that went off the iron. And a 20-point lead here for the Tar Heels. State McRae with a pull-up pop and knocks that down.
I feel like Carolina's playing like the team we hoped they would be this year. I think reality set in at some points that, okay, they're not a top 20, maybe not even a top 25 team, but they could be a really dangerous top 30 team. And that seems to be what they've grown into, finally.
Davis well short. And Jackson almost picked it off. Bethea, McDonald's All-American, around and out. Very talented kid. Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year, Miami's highest rated recruit ever, and shredding the defense, R.J. Davis.
And where is that? Well, why does he get that? Look at Ian Jackson in the corner. They're not going to help off of Ian Jackson. He just denies the ball screen, crosses over, attacks open space, and it's an easy layup in transition. You need to see more of that if you're Carolina.
Bethea around the back. Davis chasing him. Can't hit the shot. Tar Heels looking to add to their advantage. Under 13 minutes to go here at Chapel Hill, and they throw it away. Schwartz will drive it. And Jackson with the deflection. State McRae cleaned that up for two.
That was a pride block, right? You turn it over, you've got to get back and just preserve your pride. You made a bad mistake, a careless one on the offensive side. He gets the block. You feel a little bit better.
Withers to get back in the game now for Hubert Davis.
That would help.
And it does help a lot. Jackson again 40% out there. And 23 against Alabama. 27 at Notre Dame. He can heat up.
If he cut as well with the urgency that Drake Powell cuts with, he'd be even better. And sometimes you got to look at what other players do really well and try to mimic that, because that would help Ian Jackson get more open looks.
Johnson off a nice fake. Will drive and stuff. The biggest moment of the day for Miami as far as electricity. 65-46. And he has 13. Trimble going to that left hand, draws the foul. So strong.
Talk about the pride block, right? You make a bad mistake, you got to come back and do something with it. Look, this team has started to find. Here it is. There's just a poor mistake. Line your steps up, take it away, save your pride. Ian Jackson getting in the mix on the offensive end too. They're dangerous when he's hit. That's like we had the stupid pet tricks at halftime. They don't have to be stupid, but I think Dave Letterman used to do the stupid pet tricks and stupid human tricks. Loved them. Now we just call it like X Factor. Blues Brothers, they dunked off each other's back, and that guy just nailed a puck from full court, which that ain't easy. Man, I'll take today any day.
Been a full day here in Chapel Hill. Schwartz with a pull-up pop and knocks it down.
It's interesting. Carolina picks up pressure, and the first thing they do is give up a transition three. I always felt this Carolina team needed to be better picking up full pressure, but it's not just about getting a stop. It's about putting the pace on the game.
Loose cross court. Jackson. Cadeau looking in.
There's just nothing there.
Threw it away. It's been a problem for the point guard. He's up around 100 turnovers.
But it's, talk about rhythm and flow a lot. Basketball is jazz. The thing about jazz music is in a long jazz set, the tempo never stops, right? The rhythm never stops. It may transition from sax to trumpet to piano back to the drums, but it never stops. There's been too much stop from Carolina at times, and that's when the offense just stalls. You got to keep the music flowing.
Johnson with an open look. Maybe a little too open. In transition, here comes Jackson pushing the tempo. No foul. Miami got back well defensively. And that one's going to be tipped by Lubin out of play, so it'll be Miami ball.
Some of the best plays you'll see, you could put them to music, right? And it's not about anything that's scripted. It's about what you feel. How do you flow from one thing to the next? How do you feel who's got the hot hand, and how do you play to it? All those things matter. I mean, the NBA has figured that out to a degree, right? Those guys are such good players that they get a sense of who has the advantage on the floor, and they find a way to get to it, and they attack, right? In college, it's a little bit tougher, but you've got to find ways to make enough music to get the scoring actions that allow you to expose vulnerabilities in the defense, and then you get good looks. Do you make all those shots? No, it's about getting high percentage looks.
You make a great point about basketball, setting it to music more than any other sport. You can do that, and players' ability to improvise.
Yes.
With the basketball, without the ball.
Go to a jazz lounge and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, where they play a 12-minute set. And it doesn't feel like any of them are playing scripted music, right? They just feel the strengths. They feel the energy of the crowd and what the crowd wants. You kind of play to that at times. That's always the best basketball.
Jackson, quick little fake. He'll drive it and score. Jackson with 9. Back on top for Johnson. And an offensive foul by Brandon Johnson, the 6'8" senior.
You don't see a lot of those, and thank God for it, right? The block charge rule has been something that we properly fixed in this game. It used to drive me nuts where everybody's coming in for a layup or a dunk and somebody runs in and just stands there to, quote, take the charge. Is it a good play? Maybe. But in the end, we want more plays at the rim. That's good defense by being there early.
Cadeau to the paint.
There.
Short pass, nothing there.
Not there. They don't have the space to make that play.
Staten McRae wants a long one. It barely glanced off the iron. Big Monday coming your way. Wake Forest against Duke. And Cameron Indoor to start it. And then Kansas and number 4 Houston. Here's Jackson. He'll drive it again and lay it in.
He's really tough. Again, I just think between he and Drake Powell, you're seeing players that are merely scratching the surface. The reason why I say the college basketball I grew up with is better than the college basketball today is because we'd see those two next year. And they'd be joined by other great talent. Think about Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Isaiah Evans playing with the Boozer twins next year. We were spoiled and we didn't know it.
You'd see him next year and the year after that.
And the year after that.
Jobay off the fake. Bethea lifts and can't connect. Miami's missed a lot of decent shots here in the second half. You talk about the Miami program and what a disastrous year this is. Last year very tough too, but 6-22 just 2 years after a Final Four appearance. A foul here. They lost their head coach. They lost their best player in Nigel Pack, who hasn't played for 16, 17 games because of a leg injury. Bill Courtney taking over as the interim head coach. Going to hire a new guy to run the program, but this was a great program.
Yes.
Not a good one. They went to the Elite Eight. They went to the Final Four in back-to-back years.
I think it's the fragility. It points to the fragility of winning at a time when business can be done above
Previous
the table.
play is under review.
I mean, we have to adjust to the new world, and the new world is still more like the Wild West. I mean, look, there are parts of the Oregon Trail where I thrived. It took out a Buffalo, then 2 seconds later, your diphtheria gets you. Like, that's kind of what it's become. It's this unstable playing field. I think it's hard to sustain success, and this is what we're taking a look at. Not that one, wrong play.
So to the monitor for an official review with 8:45 left. And North Carolina with a sizable lead. Cadeau with that one hitter.
Are they saying Cadeau grabbed the shoulder? I mean, he did a little bit. The problem is the more we watch this in slow-mo, the more you see it. You just didn't see it in live time, but let's see, full speed. What do we
After
look
review,
at?
we got one right. Carolina will be shooting 2 shots.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, look, it's what happens. In real speed, it just looks normal. When you slow it down and go frame by frame, it looks like he may have grabbed.
Best call of the day.
Best call of the day.
Roger said
You know,
2 shots, and we got one right.
You should have said it would have been better if you just didn't review it.
Yeah.
Just trusted your conviction. But
Roger
I
doesn't miss many.
want to finish that point, though, that you got to think of this, the fragility of winning in today's game. Because we don't know what next year really looks like. We don't know who we're going to have. We don't know who's going to come back. We don't know what it's going to take to get them to come back financially. Frankly, that's where we're at. And I just think it is more like the Wild West than anything else.
Johnson straight on, drills it. Brandon Johnson is 15. Came in averaging 8. So he's had a nice one here, the 6'8" senior. Bit of a homecoming for him. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina. Withers' pass never got there. Joe Bay wants to keep on driving it. Cleveland really quiet here in the second half. Bethea, open look, no. Joe Bay with the rebound. Matthew Cleveland was huge in the first half. Give him 2 more. And he has 18.
I want to talk about smooth fluidity. That's Matthew Cleveland. At times he probably needs to be more aggressive, assertive, and let's just call it selfish. A term I like to say, calculated selfishness. You got to understand how important you are and figure out how to be just selfish enough.
Trumbull keeps on trucking. Almost made it, but he'll be off to the line. Well, no easy assignment. North Carolina to go to the line. Seth Trimble makes 82%. This is a guy that could really get rolling. At 27 against Dayton, 18 against Boston College. And then another valuable offensive weapon. Will roll in number 1. And the 4th Carolina player in double figures today. He has 10.
He's the kind of guy, when he recognizes he has a matchup that's favorable to him, he could be really dangerous.
And can't make the second.
I didn't want to keep making my point because it got so quiet. I get insecure when people can hear me. Shy like that.
Pick the right business. Cleveland, 18-point game. Chukwu with a misfire. Rebound tapped around several times, controlled by Johnson, who started the game with a 3-pointer. Schwartz is open and drills it. He's a good shooter.
And he's an even better shooter when he takes good shots. I think that's been the challenge with Miami on this little slide here this season. Like, you kind of just shoot the shots that come your way as opposed to seeking out the shots you should look for.
Withers. And Chukwu just dropped him. They're going to go take a look at this. 6:51 to go. That'll be foul number 4. And they will examine this at the monitor. He just dropped him to the deck.
Previous play is under review for a hostile act.
Hostile act, yeah. I mean, can we?
Is there another word beyond hostile?
Yeah, that's a little. I mean, that's a little extreme for college basketball. Hostile act. I mean, can we just call it not a play on the ball? You know,
like no attempt whatsoever.
How'd you get kicked out of the game? I committed a hostile act.
Hostile act.
What'd you do? What'd you bring to the game? Nothing. I just grabbed the guy too hard. We're very
Carolina,
dramatic.
Well in command of this one, 72-58, but
it's a flagrant.
This should not take very long.
No, it's a flagrant. Yep, I agree with the gentleman behind me. It shouldn't be a long review. And let's not call it a hostile act, though.
Chukwu, the 6'3" freshman out of Sugar Land, Texas, with the violation of
what was it?
Hostility. So this again, it kind of goes to our earlier point. I'd like to see everyone speed these up a little bit when you have the opportunity to do that, when it is very painfully obvious.
Here's my argument. Tell all the officials we're going to give you $150 less for this game, and they're going to give us the upgraded to a flagrant one. Here's my recommendation. Give all these officials $150 less. Give it to a 4th official who's reviewing everything over there.
Love it.
That way, look, you can make your flights and get to the next game tomorrow, because these officials work like every stinking day.
They're really good ones, yeah.
They're really good ones. They work every day. Hey, let's simplify things. The last thing we want to do is kill the rhythm and flow of the game by reviewing everything. We got a 4th official over there. By the way, if you blow a tire, he's over there and can fill in. Here we go. Solved a lot of problems right there, Obi.
Jalen Washington. And around and out.
Or
have the ball as well.
There's enough money to just pay the 4th official.
I like that idea. So that's what he's going to be doing there.
Yes.
Well, we're kind of waiting. He can get to it very quickly.
Boom, quickly, we got it. Nope, you're good. Let's go. Keep rhythm and flow up, and you'll see better basketball.
Davis with a bounce for Powell. North Carolina's moved the ball really well. A lot of times today. Shot clock to 3 as Withers falls away and misses.
I'd like to see Withers more involved, and that's the first shot in the entire second half for Withers.
Approaching 6 minutes to go in our first game of the day. North Carolina cannot afford a slip up. There's a long range shot by Schwartz. It'll clang away. Rebound tipped out. Reset of the shot clock. He fired quickly. Reset to 20. Cadeau will race down the other end. And the slam. Good follow by Withers. A player down on the other end from Miami. Paul. I had a lengthy chat with the interim head coach Bill Courtney today before the game, and your heart goes out to him because he's a very decent, classy guy. He's used to winning at Miami alongside Jim Larinaga, and those days just disappeared so quickly. What a tough shot there by Cleveland, who gets to 20 points.
I think Cleveland and Drake Powell should just play one-on-one for the whole offseason. I think Drake Powell would learn a ton, and I think he would become a better defender having to cover pull-up jumpers.
Withers, by the way, 11 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for the Tar Heels. And there goes Powell in strong. He'll draw the foul.
I mean, Powell, you gotta want the ball #1, and then you got to be able to do something with it. Matthew Cleveland understands. Look, he's going to take contact, he's going to get up and finish. But I like on the other end, Drake Powell actually spaced out, got low, got a catch, jab step hard, got to the open spot of the floor, and here he's earned the spot at the free throw line. Like, it was a good counterpunch.
It's an area he needs improvement on. That one looked pretty darn good, but 59% for the year. His dad played baseball at North Carolina. His mom was a standout basketball player in high school who also attended North Carolina. So Chapel Hill very much in the family. They look really good on those.
It's not an issue of mechanics. It's just finding rhythm into your free throw shot. Like, guys shoot a higher percentage from the floor if they have rhythm into the shot. And there are metrics out there for it, but ultimately you just watch and you know what I'm talking about.
Johnson turns and missed ugly with that one. North Carolina by 16 in the ball at the 5-minute mark. And Cadeau looking to make a move. On the drive, took a bump and laid it in.
And he has space like that, he's really good. When he doesn't have space like that, that's where he's struggled. That's where he's often turned the basketball over. But a good line, open space, attacked open space, hard to defend that.
It is a highly intelligent fan base here in North Carolina. They know the position that they're in. They've got to win here today, and they came out firing. State McRae with a basket. They've had the lead around 20 a couple of times today.
You've got to win, but you also have to feel good about what you're building. You know, you're building towards the postseason here. You've got to feel good when you leave every game.
Cadeau again to penetration. Got it off. Lubin will lay it in. He's really been their #1 guy in the second half. He has 17 points.
He gets a lot when someone's able to get to the rim and bring a secondary defender. Lubin just does a good job of kind of rooting his way in, keeping defenders, that third defender, off his back.
Cleveland again. Yes. A 3. And his big day continues. 23. He missed the last 2 because of an ankle sprain. And he has looked 100% today.
I'm telling you, somebody needs to sit him down and talk about what calculated selfishness is all about. You almost have the responsibility to be calculatedly selfish.
Powell, he takes a shot before the basket.
Chukwu's had some tough fouls.
66 North Carolina, and they're at the line. Drake Powell, the freshman from Pittsboro, North Carolina, who has started the last 4, including today, for Hubert Davis. And he will shoot again. And becomes the 6th North Carolina player in double figures today as he gets to 10.
I think the challenge for Carolina is you've got to embody the team that you've eventually become. Right, because the team we've seen over the last 4, now 5 games is a team that can compete at a pretty high level. They finally figured out how to play with smaller lineups, different rotations, but you've got to embody that group and continue to build upon it.
Schwartz with Davis and throws it away. Realize North Carolina has committed only 5 fouls all day.
I think it's like hard to believe when you look at that. And I understand you got a lot of pick and pop bigs from Miami. They're really not pressing down low, and you're switching a lot if you're Carolina. These turnovers are just too much.
Cleveland left it short. Davis had a chance to save it, but off his hands.
For Carolina, you look at those little things and you go, okay, we can get away with that here, but you're not going to get away with that against better competition, and you need to be able to beat better competition if you want to play in March in the NCAA tournament.
Firmly on the bubble, coming into play today. Johnson way downtown. And Davis gets to it. North Carolina about 3 minutes away to improving to 12-2 here at the Smith Center this year. And again, they have Virginia Tech and Blacksburg next. And then the second game against Duke on March 8 on ESPN at 6:30. Here's Powell open in the corner. Yes, sir.
That's pretty stuff. I mean, good ball movement. The thing got into the paint, back out, east to west. Comes back to Drake Powell. Again, as he continues to improve his shot preparation, which is ultimately footwork, he's going to get more looks and get more shots off.
14 today. Johnson again on the dribble. Up against Withers. Got low and lays it in on a foul, too.
Only the 6th foul of the game for Carolina. That's crazy.
Yeah, with 2 minutes to go in the game. That'll put Johnson at the line. He makes 70%. 17 points today.
It's amazing to think that between both halves, they still wouldn't be in the bonus. That's wild.
Now looking for a 3-point play. And does that. 85-69. They break that quickly for Withers.
Having a guy like R.J. Davis in that situation it's such a treat, because you can pass the ball in at the worst spot and trust him to make the right play. Like, you wouldn't pass me the ball there. I would turn it over.
Lubin back for Davis. Lubin quite a presence in the second half. Trimble shot. Didn't get there, but Powell cleans it up.
A quick jump, too. I wish I could watch the matchup of Drake Powell and Matthew Cleveland more.
That'd be fun.
It's just a good matchup. You should hang out after the game.
Schwartz with a one-hander. Short.
You don't have anywhere to go, do you?
I have nowhere to be. If that's what you want to do, I'll be right next to you, John Crispin. Just got to convince them. I think they have other things to do, but
I'm a good salesman.
Job one today for North Carolina was to take care of business, and they did that against Miami. Davis will launch one and swish in a triple. With 13 points today, kind of a quiet offensive day, but he did get to 2,600 career points.
And I think he's doing a little more facilitating. He's managing the game a little bit more, and I think that's important, particularly when you have young talent around you. Matthew Cleveland, what a dog, man.
26 for him.
But they're tough shots, man. Sean Livingston, Jamal Crawford, those guys, they could just create off the bounce and get to the mid-range. He's got a little of that in him.
Well, North Carolina continues to roll. This will be 5 consecutive wins. They're now 12-6 in conference play with this W. And 19-11 overall. Another cleanup by Ven-Allen Lubin. Really a star in the second half. Give him 19.
And now averaging about 91 points a game over the last 5 for Carolina.
And no basket there. Whistle before that with 7.3 to go. 92-71. North Carolina averaging about 91 points a game during this winning streak. They get to 92 so far here today. He's sending Hubert Davis home very happy, along with the fans at Chapel Hill on this Saturday. And it'll be Johnson to the line. A senior from Raleigh. And makes the first. A 19-point day for Brandon Johnson.
There's also the challenge of figuring out how you need to play on the defensive end to get the game played in terms of the tempo and pace the way you need it to be played to be a 90-point-a-game scoring team. It doesn't mean you're perfect defensively. If you're perfect defensively, you're not going to be able to score 90 points. The game will be slow. Carolina's starting to figure that out.
North Carolina sails to the win. The final score here today, 92-73, 5 in a row. So North Carolina next up, Virginia Tech.